If you're watching this message, it's because you feel like you fucked up something important in your life, or like you took the wrong path or took the wrong turn somewhere, or you feel like you've made the wrong choice about something that maybe you didn't think was as important at the time, and it ended up being the wrong choice on like a serious life path level. I'm hearing Robert Frost, two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and if I could, I'd travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and look down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Shout out to my 4th or 5th grade English teacher for making me memorize that, and then it somehow becoming a core memory that I can't get rid of. But anyways, if we look back, there's a fork in the road in your life that had really serious life path implications. And honestly, whether or not you'll actually be consciously aware of the particular fork I'm referring to is pretty dependent on your level of shadow work and integration or shadow denial, and where you are on your own personal healing journey and how self-aware you are. Because I feel like I'm talking straight to someone's shadow self in this. And I feel like from the downloads that I get, that a lot of my viewers are just starting out their healing journeys, or at least starting to get to those subconscious depths, and only just now cracking open, that dark closet in the back of themselves with that, sign on the door that says, "Do not open, beware, keep out." I don't get the sense that you've truly explored your inner depths, or really know just how deep that they go, how much deeper they go than your peers. Maybe you think you've explored to the bottom, because you've gone as deep as everybody else's, the full capacity of everybody else's. You've gone that far, and you're like, well, that's it. That's all there is. But you go so much deeper than that. If you're an iceberg, you're the one that sunk the Titanic. 90% of you is in that hidden depth. And maybe you haven't been brave enough to explore, the full extent of those murky depths. Maybe you've had some experiences that have scared you about seeing that side of you. Maybe in past karmic relationships, you've had to unleash the beast, or been put into situations, traumatic situations, where you've seen a side of yourself that scares you. As this energy is giving strong shadow denial. It's not giving well-integrated shadow self. But even if your shadow potential scares you, it doesn't scare me. I have an 8th house sun and Mercury and Pluto 1st house, so, my chart is all Hades. I'm like Bane. I live in that shadow, and talking to me is like flashing a flashlight right into the darkness. Wherever your sun is in your chart is going to cast a light into whatever house that is, and 8th house is sex, death, taxes, taboo, everything that we want to keep hidden, everything that we feel ashamed about, the deep, dark depths of psychology, fetishes, abuse, crime, everything that gives underworld. So when I talk to people, I can naturally see everything that they want to keep hidden, and have been able to since I was a small child. But I also see the things that people want to keep hidden from themselves, and that they do keep hidden from themselves. And I can see the full extent of people's capabilities of lying to themselves, which fascinates me. But buckle up, because those boundaries of shame and the fear of emotional intimacy don't bother me. So if you have difficulties dropping your walls, that's why you're finding my readings, and that's why you're listening. And you may not feel, especially if I'm talking to a feminine energy right now, you may not feel like you have issues with emotional intimacy. Maybe you feel like you're always the one that wants to make things serious first or say I love you first. Like you're ready to go all in. So you feel like you don't really resonate with that because you feel in your own mind like you're very clingy and jealous and territorial. You feel like nothing ever gets done right unless you do it, and that nobody is ever going to go that extra mile for you like you do for them. Like you feel like you're living for other people, always doing everything for everyone else around you. You know, you pick up everyone's slack, and it can feel like you're, trying to squeeze blood from a stone to try to get that effort reciprocated. Like you do everything. You cook all the meals, wash and iron the clothes, you do the chores, you might work as well, take care of the kids or the fur kids. Like I'm seeing this vision of this woman like ironing clothes for her partner and like setting out his laundry, setting out like what he's gonna wear for the day. Like it's all folded and neatly stacked, and he's in the shower getting ready for work, and she's just like, doing the shit that he can do himself and should be doing, but she's like matching up his socks and laying it out with his outfit, and like there's a level of fear in her of what the repercussions would be if she didn't do this. And I need you to understand that this is also a form of guards and walls that you have up to prevent you from being truly emotionally vulnerable and intimate with another person. That whole doing too much mentality and the need to control everyone in every situation to try to get them to adhere to your way of doing things, to your love languages, to your amount of effort when they clearly aren't on the level that you are. It's like struggle love. It's a lack mentality. It's a sign of, improper boundaries, of feeling like you don't deserve better in your subconscious mind, in your shadow. That feeling that no one ever does as much as you is subconscious, and it's manifesting into your real world, and it's part of your mask of control that you exist with socially, where you always actually have to be the one that does more, that you can't comfortably be with someone who operated like you do. If you were put into a situation where someone did do everything that you were doing, you would be immediately very uncomfortable. You probably can't even take a compliment properly. Let's be real. If someone calls you pretty, you're probably like, oh, no, And so the masculine and feminine in this, they show up like the polar opposites, the yin and yang, like they're supposed to, but this is the unhealthy form of that polarization. And for as long as you show up in this form, this is going to be mirrored in your opposite counterpart, because the scales have to balance, the world has to balance, and this is how it balances. Everything is mirrored. All of your social world, all of your relationships, and everybody that exists in your world is you pushed out, and they're just a mirror of you and your own issues on your own healing journey. And so the direct details of whatever your dramatic experience is, whatever your life drama, your intimate life details and issues are that you're trying to solve, are completely dependent on what your issues are within yourself. And that goes for all of our world around us, not just our relationships. That's also our relationship with money. If you think that money is the root of all evil, that's going to manifest into your life. If you feel like you always have to work until your legs are breaking, your back is breaking to get ahead, and everybody else just like was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, they don't have to work as hard as you, their parents paid for college, they don't know real struggle. I mean, that's the same energy you're bringing into your relationship, right? Like that I always have to do more than everyone else in order to get as much in return, which is saying to the universe, I don't deserve this as much as they do. I have to work harder than everybody else to get money, to get love, to get anything, because inherently I don't deserve it. like everybody else just does by birthright. But what about your birthright? You know? Because I can tell you right now, whoever's listening to this, specifically, I'm talking directly to you, you were not put on this earth to struggle. So much so that you were put on this earth to struggle less than others, not more. You were meant to be spoiled. You were meant for that king or queen treatment. But the walls that you have up right now are preventing you from receiving your inheritance. You're blocking out any potential for your highest path. And this stems back from what I was talking about in the beginning. Because you're carrying around this wound like you fucked something up. Like you're on this path of struggle because you had a road that diverged into, two forks, and one went to struggle and one went to peace and happiness, and you took the wrong one, both internally and externally. And I'm here to tell you that that's true. You did. You fucked up and made the wrong choice. But that was always planned. 11:11 on the clock. God had always planned for that. Your angels, your team knew you and where you were at when they were planning, this course for you. And what, they plan out what decision that you're likely to make. Because that's very easy for them to calculate. They see every ripple and where that ripple will be 30 miles away. Or when it gets to the other side of the ocean. They're not limited to our human capacity for this. They see all the options, all the timelines, every possible course, and which ones you'll take very easily. And so you could have taken one of those paths. They knew that. They gave you the option. You had the free will, and you took the wrong one. But they also accounted for that. So you have now the option to course correct, to go through a portal if you so can reach that inside of you, to do the work inside of you in order to be able to hit this next layer, this next level up, and evolve so that you can accept your inheritance, so that you do not have your walls up blocking this out. Because you had your walls up before, you were never going to take that other path, and they knew that. Your whole spiritual team knew you weren't going to take that path. They knew you weren't going to make that choice. And they knew you would regret it later. And that you'd feel like you fucked up your whole life. You'd be overwhelmed by this guilt and shame and regret. But that was always part of your soul's evolutionary journey. It was a catalyst for you to level up. And like all these karmic events, these canon events, these karmic relationships that we have are to help us level up our souls. Humans evolve via suffering. I forget where I read this, but angels and fae level up by and evolve via joy, and humans evolve via suffering. And you need both. Everybody needs both. Because you need that shadow and the light. As above, so below. As within, so without, blah, blah, blah. You cannot deny your shadow any longer. Because it will keep you trapped in a life that feels empty, that feels miserable, that you are just in struggle of. Not knowing how, you're going to get by to the next week. Not knowing, if you're going to die alone. And you weren't meant for that. You were not meant for that life. But you were meant to learn this lesson. And so now it's all about whether or not you will take, this knowledge and do the inner work that's needed to heal and to be intentional about where you're at now and to see your shadow self clearly. You got to open that closet and see who you actually are, all the way down to the deepest, darkest depths of you, without judgment, and to be able to unconditionally love all of you, including the parts that you felt shame for, which involves dismantling a lot of judgment systems that you've been carrying around from, God knows where, caring about opinions from fucking People you probably have never seen again, that never mattered in the first place. NPCs. Like, it's giving hoarder. Like, you've hoarded all of these judgments away and put them in this box in the back of your closet that says do not open. And you've just left it there, and you, like, ignore it, and you don't want to clean up the mess. But it's time to clean out that closet, 1515. Because you need to be able to integrate your shadow side and stop with the shame and shadow denial in order to feel unconditional love for yourself and access your inheritance, which is your spiritual gifts, your clairvoyance, claircognizance, all those clairsenses. You have these intuitive gifts that you were meant for, and that's why your shadow is so deep, because that's where all those intuitive gifts lie. And you have a higher capacity for this, for empathy, for compassion, for intuitive psychic gifts. And that internal compass of yours got skewed early on. So it needs to be recalibrated, and you just got to be able to, clean those skeletons from your closet, because we have an internal compass that's built in that helps us navigate to where our guides and angels want us to go, what's planned for us, because we planned out our higher selves, and our guides planned out our highest path based on our dreams, our wishes. Your highest path is the life of your dreams. And that's how this works, and we separate ourselves from it our whole waking life, feeling like we're not good enough for it, and let all these limiting beliefs keep us away from our dream life. And this whole karmic journey is about overcoming those chains to the devil that hold us back from our dream lives. It's all about doing the work to overcome the fear, the limitations, figuring out what our chains are. Addictions, fears, unhealthy habits, unhealthy ties to people. Like, we hold on to these spiritual ties with people who are no longer in our lives. And we think they don't matter, but they hold us down, they tether us. So we stay where they are and we never ascend. So I strongly suggest, whoever is reading this, for you to perform a cord cutting on all old soul ties. Because I can feel a lot of them still tethering you down, or like one really strong one in particular, something that did a number on you. And these things will help you to balance your masculine and feminine energies, your logic and intuition, because those are the two things that you need for calibrating that compass, for that internal compass to operate. You sit in your intuition, and you use your masculine logic energy to navigate through it, and you have that balance within yourself. And so, like, the person I'm reading for feels incomplete, and regardless of whether you're masculine or feminine, you're looking externally for something to complete you, even though you have everything within you, and you must have everything within you. You must be complete in order to find another complete person. Saying that someone completes you is nice and all, but like, when you actually find your equal divine counterpart, you guys will both be whole, and you'll achieve a whole different level of completion than when you were both missing parts. And then it's about withstanding triggers, emotional triggers from those demons, those negative angels. Learning emotional endurance and holding a frequency. Maintaining that frequency will maintain your dream life. In case you because I'm sensing someone who something starts really good, and then within the first 3-6 months, something like that, maybe first month even, it just immediately turns to shit. They feel afraid, they feel paranoid, and then everything turns upside down. And it's doing that because you're turning upside down emotionally. You're not maintaining the frequency of hope. You're looking for everything that can go wrong, worst case scenarios, and then you're manifesting them. And it's in the Matrix, where, like, she's like, would you have broken that vase if, I hadn't said anything? And it makes you wonder, like, would that ex have cheated on you if you didn't start getting paranoid first? And it may feel victim blaming, but you really have to understand how we manifest our worlds around us. Because our conscious fears won't manifest, but our subconscious fears manifest. And whatever our dominant thoughts are, they will become our subconscious dominant thoughts. So if we're consciously thinking paranoid fucking thoughts all the time, it can translate into our subconscious minds very easily. And that's why you're always hearing about saying affirmations and stuff to help manifest your better life. And I firmly suggest that you start doing that and figuring out what your affirmations would be by connecting with your higher self and seeing what your, highest life path is supposed to be. Because the energy I'm connecting with, you don't even want to look at it. You don't even want to look at your higher path. That's how blocked off it is from you. And you feel like every time you try, you fuck it up. So you're settling for what feels, safe, comfortable, okay-ish, but, like, you're dying inside. Let's be real. You're not satisfied, and this can't be maintained either. You have to strive for more. Because internally, in those steps, you know that you signed on for a better life than this. And you did. You were right. Your shadow was right. And you're supposed to advance out of the struggle to work and survive, into a place of faith and trust where you realize that the universe always gives you exactly what you need whenever you need it. That the universe always has your back and takes care of you. That you have a team of angels supporting you. Because this energy is really pessimistic, beyond pessimistic. It's fatalistic. You just feel like you're destined to fail, and it is completely the opposite. You are destined for such great, wonderful things. Your life path, like, I can see it in front of me, and it's so beautiful. It's so great. You have, like, no idea, because you won't let yourself know the possibilities. And you need to be able to daydream again. There's a need to reconnect with your inner child and fantasize and allow yourself to be filled with childlike wonder and, like, reconnect with the world around you. Go out into nature. Believe in magic again. Believe in romance again, and true love and soulmates. Because you used to be an idealist, and then you, became overly critical and a pessimist, but you feel like you're a realist, but you're not. And you really need to learn how to have fun again without, being drunk. Without, it takes so much for this person to let their guards down because they're so afraid. They're so afraid of their higher path. They're so afraid of fucking up again and making an even worse life path because they feel like that other path that they fucked up is gone completely, and that the path they're on now is the best they could ever do. And that's simply just not true. You have no idea how wrong you are. But this is just fear and lack mentality. It's not as bad as you think. It's not as hopeless as you believe. And that path is still there for you. Maybe you will have to swim a little bit to get back to it. Jump through a couple hoops, to appease your subconscious mind in order to get to it. But you can get to it. You are meant to get to it. Please listen to me. You are meant for that life. And you need to learn how to trust your higher self. Trust your internal voice, because you're not listening to it at all. And I feel like whenever I channel anymore, this is the only frequency I pick up, because this is just your guides are so overwhelmed with messages to send to you. And then you get drawn to watch my messages. So you gotta listen. Because otherwise, what are you watching this for? If you didn't actually still have hope, you wouldn't be watching my readings. But you're still watching them from a place that it's like unrealistic to actually achieve any of this. And I really need you to start fantasizing. But like, not fantasizing like it's a world you'll never reach, but fantasizing like about what you want to do next week. You know? Stop separating yourself from your dream world. Believe in it. Trust it. Trust that the highest path for you is your dream life. And that you can have that. You deserve it. Because as soon as I said that, it was just like, no, I don't deserve it. That's not how this works. Like, hush. You do deserve it. You deserve love. You deserve luxury. You deserve freedom. Because this energy, especially like in terms of love and relationships, you have this inherent feeling like freedom can't come with it. Like, it's unhealthy. Relationships and love to you are these like binding, heavy, soul tie contracts that chain you down, prevent you from living your dream life. And those are karmic relationships. Those are not, you are very confused. Because the person who you're meant to be with will respect your personal autonomy and your freedom to reach your dreams. And you will feel that way to them too. You guys will mirror each other in a healthy way. That's what you're meant for. Everything else is a karmic tie that's supposed to be a catalyst to teach you that love is not supposed to be like that. So if you're like, I already met my soulmate in the past, but it was really unhealthy, it was terrible, it was like obsessive and like toxic and awful, hun, they were not your soulmate. That was a karmic. Let's be real. And like, sure, maybe it was hot and heavy or like felt emotionally deep, but you weren't compatible. Like, clearly. And in your synastry chart, you probably had a lot of squares, or oppositions, which, like, you know, it can cause a spark. It can cause you to feel fireworks. And it can also burn down your entire house. Those connections were never meant to be maintained. But you can feel fireworks for a person and have the placements that balance it out so that it can be maintained. So you can feel that way your whole life. And you're meant for that. You're meant for that kind of love. Like that romantic love story, happy ending. That's what's scripted for you if you would just allow yourself to believe it and to trust it. But that involves consciously doing the healing work to also be who your partner needs to be too, because you can't be paranoid and 11:11 on the clock, paranoid and controlling, jealous, you know, constantly trying to control your partner or their actions. You have to let people be who they are. If they want to come to you, they'll come to you. And your partner, your ideal partner, will always choose you. And you gotta trust that. You don't have to put a leash on them. If you have to put a leash on them, they're not yours. If you have to train them, like, they're not for you. This is just more struggle love mentality that you were raised to believe, you know, probably because of the relationships that were around you as a child, that your brain learned, like, what is it that baby ducks do? Like, imprinted. Those were imprinted upon you as what healthy love was supposed to be, and none of those were healthy love. So those example relationships really twisted your belief system and, you know, your attraction early on and up until this point, so that you would seek out unhealthy relationships. But we can learn from these things and break patterns, and you're supposed to break the patterns and step outside your comfort zone. Your highest path will not be in your comfort zone. It's at the exact point opposite your comfort zone in everyone's charts. That is universal. Doesn't matter who this is for. It's for everybody. That message in particular is for literally every person. That's how if you read astrological charts and know anything about the karmic journey, your south node is always on the exact point opposite your north node. And in your last life, it was completely flipped. So each time you learn the complete opposite karmic journey, life path, as the last life, so that you fully integrate those lessons into your oversouls. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I wish you guys luck. Okay, I love you, bye.